Charlie Heggem, Cirrus Body Float Seat Post owner here. Charlie, you are a former pro cyclist.
Yes, I've done a little bit of riding in my past. Back in the 90s, I had a pro license racing mountain bikes and played around a lot on two wheels. And have been, in love with the bike since I was born. And now I'm a pretty big proponent of the e-bike.
That's awesome, because most guys that walk into the electric bike shops think, oh, electric bikes, are you kidding me? Maybe when I'm 90.
Are you kidding me? Get one now. The electric bike is the most transformational vehicle I've ever owned. And that's coming from somebody who's been on two wheels all my life. When I got my electric bike, it was what I tell people, it was the equivalent of getting my driver's license when I was 16. It just changed the game. I can haul two kids, all my groceries, still do 20 miles an hour, and not have a lick of sweat. And I don't think I could have done that when I was a pro rider. But now I can do that and have fun. My partner gets on the bike all the time. She loves riding it. It really is the most amazing vehicle I've ever had. And I love riding bikes. I ride my road bike still all the time, but my electric bike gets all the mileage for my utilitarian use when I travel into cities, that type of stuff. It just truly is. It's blown me away how accessible the electric bike is, even to somebody who's a cyclist.
So again, you're a cyclist. Have you ridden with anyone that we would have heard of?
I've ridden with a few good riders in my past. I've raced against Armstrong, and I've done some incredible rides with riders such as Greg LeMond. I've done, there's a bunch of names I could throw out, and it comes down to, we all spin our legs. Some of them are faster than others, and I've had the opportunity to really be, indoctrinated into the sport by some of those bigger riders that we've all heard of. And that's really what kept me in it, is, the passion for getting other people into biking, just like those guys got me into cycling.
Well, that's fantastic. So, on the electric bikes, is it possible to get exercise on these?
Possible? It's impossible not to get exercise on these things, because you're breathing air outside. So if nothing else, you got that. But if I want to spin on a bike, I'm just using the assist to get to where I want to go faster. I can put as much effort as I want to put into it and get as much out of it as I want to get out of it. So I can absolutely get a phenomenal workout on an electric bike. I've done 40, 50, I've actually done a 100-mile ride once a couple years ago where I brought an extra battery with me. And that's not an issue. And I'm out there pushing hard with a lot of road racers on my electric bike. And I'm having fun, I'm working hard, I'm enjoying it. And everybody else is drafting me because now I'm setting the pace. And it's pretty fun to do. Actually, you mentioned that, as a training tool, the electric bike is phenomenal. Because when you're going that fast, you spin. And road bikers and good cyclists, we like to motor pace. So we like to get in behind cars, and that forces our ability to pedal fast and keep going. But it's often very dangerous. On an electric bike, either when I'm on an electric bike or I'm riding somebody with an electric bike, I can get in and I can motor pace. And that's what's really, really fun, is going faster at higher output, and it's just a blast to do. And I use it as actually a training tool for my customers that I teach how to ride bikes, have them draft me, or I put them on the bike and I draft them. It's a great situation.
That's fantastic. Hey, so let's talk a little bit about your product, the Body Float Seat Post.
What we have here is the Body Float Connect Post. And what this is basically, it takes a rider and levitates them on top of the bike. Now I can show you how it works, but it's actually, what I'm showing you right now is actually opposite of how it actually works. Because when I sit on the system, I want to be nice and stable. You don't see the system move at all. But as I'm riding, the bike can move up underneath me, and I'm isolated from all of those bumps. And you can see I still got lots of available travel, but when I sit on this post, it doesn't move. The bike's able to move freely underneath me. So what we've got is a very unique system here that keeps the rider connected to the bike. And when anything is connected, when a motor is connected to a chassis, when the body is connected to this vehicle, it's going to perform better, you're going to be more comfortable, and you're going to optimize and control all the outputs and the things that you want. And that's what riders need to have. I want to sit and be in control. And that's a key element. Our product allows the rider to sit use their sit bones to control the bike, which is a better place to control your bike, and you're going to have a lot more comfort, a lot more control, and ultimately a lot more output over the bike. And you can see here, this is not overkill. This is sublime. Body Float Connect seat post on top of a Brooks C60 or underneath a Brooks B67 saddle. You'll find most of the actual Pedego dealers, the owners, this is the exact setup that they ride on. Why? Because it is the most comfortable, most controllable bike that you can get. You ride that. This is actually your saddle and setup right here. Why do you have this set up like that?
For every reason you just said. It's the most comfortable, best performing seat combination I've ever ridden on. And I was self-taught to ride on two-wheel bikes before my 3rd birthday. So
yeah.
That was 51 years ago.
And don't age yourself like that. You know, we don't even know that. And that's what it's about. You know, there's been a lot of products in the past. There's a lot of products that are out there now. This is a very different design from those that are out there. We have a vertical travel path that allows the rider to stay stable and the bike to move up underneath of you at small amplitude, high frequency. We took all the damping out of this system, so there's no damping inside of the mechanism itself, which allows the bike, again, to match whatever frequency it needs to underneath of you. And then we got a very simple tuning feature that allows, I got it on your bike over here, this little tuning knob, and it's really tough. You ready for this? Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And if I'm sitting on the saddle, I can move this and turn it right to the left. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, very, very easy to adjust, very, very fun to ride.
And what does that adjustment do for you?
What that adjustment does is it takes the springs, you can see in here, you, Bob, you've got a black and an orange spring that works for you at about 200, a little over 200 pounds. This is what you prefer to ride on. And what this bolt on the back does is it changes spring tension. I'm not changing spring rate. Spring rate isn't something you can change because it's the property of the steel. But the spring tension, I can. So I can show you, kind of define this a little bit easier. I'm going to back off all the tension that you had set onto this system. I'm just going to back that bolt off. And you can see the system will come up and rise into its most upright position. And my tension scale here is all the way back to a 1. And now when I push on this, very, very easy to get it to move. But it still supports you at 200 pounds, but I can push this down with my thumbs. Why is that? Because I've got control of the tension. When I sit on the system, I'm going to sag at a certain amount. And what I can do is I can tighten this bolt down to where when I sit, I get no more sag. I come up off the saddle, it's there, but the bike's still able to move underneath me. So I'm nice and stable, but when I hit something, the saddle's going to stay where it's at, the bike's going to move, and it's going to look something like that. So what the tension does, it gives the user the opportunity to create any feel that they want. You want to tighten it up here, it's going to feel more like a race car. Very responsive and quick. If I loosen up that tension, it's wide open like a Cadillac. I can sit back and just float around and do whatever I want to do. So it's completely up to the rider how they want that bike to feel for them.
Total self-adjustment, personalized seat post.
And that's what it's about. It's about you riding the bike and being comfortable within your means. And we feel that this is, without question, the most important contact point on the bike is the seat and saddle, because that's where most of your mass is. So what we like to do is get onto the seat post first. Get somebody on the body float so they can sit and relax and get comfortable. Then you can find the saddle that actually fits them best and does what they need to do. The other way around doesn't work so well because people try to find a saddle, a big cushy saddle. I want cushion, I want gel, I want all this other stuff. Don't do that. That's not going to solve most of your riders' problems. Come from get them isolated, get them comfortable, then find the saddle to fit their anatomy and the needs that they have. And that's the right combination to do that.
That's awesome. What complaints do you typically hear from people about saddles and about riding?
Well, it's interesting. One of my favorite questions to ask is, what is your chief complaint or your primary performance goal? And a customer will look at that and they'll think, okay, my chief complaint, so basically what are my barriers to entry to riding a bike? My butt hurts. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm nervous on the bike, so bike confidence, and then the road. I'm nervous about going out on the road. I don't want to deal with traffic. And does this product handle all of those things? Yes, it does. Directly and indirectly. comfort-wise, if I've got a customer that has their primary complaint is my butt hurts, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on top of this. I'm going to have them sit on it again with the exact same saddle, and they're going to go, wow, that feels incredibly different. I can get used to this. Maybe they need a different saddle to fit their anatomy. Maybe they've got really narrow sit bones, they've got wide sit bones. We can deal with that and get them comfortable on that. So we can deal with that comfort issue first. Confidence. This bike is a heavy bike. Electric bikes are heavy. Our bikes that the road bikes that we ride out there are 15, 20 pounds. That's an easy thing to have underneath me. I can throw it around and have good control of it. On an electric bike, this may weigh 40, 50, 60 pounds. That's a lot of weight coming up underneath of you. And you want that weight to be here, not there. And so what the body float does is it allows that rider to stay in contact through much more terrain. Therefore, you're much more confident and in control of your bike. And that is a huge improvement. When you get a rider who's not real confident out there, able to sit, be in control, not be death gripping, I can relax my hands, sit, and when I've got control, I'm going to ride my bike a lot more.
That's fantastic, Charlie. I mean, honestly, talking to you about bikes and saddles is really a pleasure. I don't know anyone out there that really knows the product better than you, so thank you so much.
I appreciate it, and good riding to you. Enjoy your miles.